In this episode, we meet Hankfully Yours from the planet Lavasa, where they live, eat, breathe, and defecate magma.
He's an extremophile who hopes to be welcomed by thrumming in a double helix when he returns to his homeworld.
So roll up your towel into a pillow, lean back, and
prepare to learn how to distinguish applause from an orgy.
Shut up and sit down.
Welcome once again to the Hitchhikers and Appetizers podcast, coming to you from Millyways, the restaurant at the end of the universe. I am, of course, Horatio Zinn, holding down more than my share of booth 42. The other host would be the inimitable, I think that's a word, the recently operated upon Trellis Gardeen. Trellis, say hello to the people. Let them hear.
Thank you
let
so
them
much,
hear what
Horatio.
has been inflicted upon your vocal cords.
No, I was going to say, can you guess, in addition to that, can you guess what other work I had done?
No, we should probably edit out the part when I spoiled the
that's okay.
surprise.
People can probably tell I sound different.
Yes, he had his vocal cords sheened.
Vocal cord sheening is in full effect now.
Again, the estivating, that's more for people on a lower budget, I would assume.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Now
you have to keep getting it done.
Oh.
Which really is a better model for the business, quite frankly.
That's true.
Repeat customers.
That's true. So the estivating is that's good to know.
So short term, sheening costs more, but you don't have to do it again. Long run, estivezing is cheaper, but you got to keep doing it. So eventually, you pay.
It looks very similar. So just from looks.
If you looked at them side by side, you think those are they're related.
Yes. Yeah. Well,
You know what we're not related to?
What's that? Who?
Our
What?
guest. Our guest. This is not a relative.
Wonderful segue. That was beautiful.
I thought that was pretty awesome. Thank you very much. It looks as good as I do. It sounded as good as I look. That's what I meant to say.
It was as comfortable as I am.
This is true. You're very comfortable.
Aren't I?
Well, let's say hello to our guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Hankfully. I am a Lavatsan. I come from a all-lava planet.
Ooh.
Yes,
lava.
called Lavasa.
Oh my!
And it is, yes,
Lavasa is in that's a Lavasa lava.
and also magma. There's
Magma.
Magma.
Of course, there's both. There's the magma, and then as it floats to the top, it becomes lava.
Oh,
okay.
that's lovely.
I did not know.
Lovely.
I'm learning. This is, you know what, Horatio, I think this is the earliest I've learned something in one of our episodes.
It's true. Hopefully it will not stifle you for the rest of the podcast.
Sometimes my brain gets filled pretty quick. But
The easiest way to remember it is if you thought about the fluids in your body. Just imagine that there was a different word for if you were bleeding versus if the blood was doing what it was supposed to.
Oh, so it's like if there was flowing and there's contained blood. Flowing, contained blood.
Which is the magma.
Yes.
And then as the blood bleeds out, it would be like the lava.
Fascinating. So it's a different color when it hits the air, or
I guess there'd be no real way to know because until it hits a visible surface, it's all just hot rock.
oh, and you live down in the magma. Great. You live down in the magma.
Yes.
Now, I want to know. A burning question because it would burn my eyes if I lived under magma. Lived in magma. But how do you see? Can you see under the magma?
Very poorly, if at all. We have eyes.
Yes.
By some
lovely eyes.
Some horrible requirement by our genetics. We have optical nerves, but for what purpose? While underneath the magma, the burning, hot magma.
Because those eyes, your eyes look very fragile. They look like they're very fragile and soft, and look like they
Incredibly.
could boil just instantly in the heat.
Yes. Thankfully, my lids that cover the eyes are much like the rest of my skin, burned and boiled to the point of being a thick leather.
Oh, I've noticed, and when you bat your eyelashes, I noticed it's a little bit of spark hits. That's wonderful.
Yes, it's all the boiled in magma as it coats me like a rock surface.
now your skin is definitely a fine leather. Have you ever had to deal with any other races coming to your planet and tried to harvest you for coats?
Not that I'm aware of.
Fascinating question, Terrell.
Okay, I was just curious because I wouldn't mind wearing Hank, is what I'm saying.
Excuse me? Just me personally? You would take my body and flay me, Hankfully Yours, of the Lavasa planet?
Well, not that I know you know, but if I didn't know you, absolutely.
What?
Trellis is much more likely to wear someone he doesn't know than someone he does.
Right.
The skin.
Far more likely.
Not to wear them generally, but their pelt, their skin, their fur coating of some kind. He doesn't normally just drape them over.
Is there someone you don't like
normally
on your planet? Is there someone that you like, is your nemesis? Maybe they could be turned into a jacket. I'm just throwing that out
I'm
there.
trying to think through the people that I know, and there's no one that I dislike make a coat out of enough.
Okay, that's fine.
Like there's nobody who is so far removed from me and my likes that I think that person should be clothing.
You set a high standard.
I'm disappointed, but I understand. I get it. I'm assuming maybe there's not that large of a population
No,
on the Watson, so
it's incredibly low.
You can't
because-
afford to lose anyone.
That's exactly right. We are not one of these species that just simply expands and expands, eating up all these resources. We instead have a very hellacious, difficult life, and we must do our best to keep as many of them alive as possible.
What's the average lifespan then for a Lavazan?
Oh, well, it's kind of like a two-tiered thing, because
Okay.
if somebody makes it out of childhood, they
Okay.
could last for thousands of years, thousands
Oh.
of loops around whatever solar system you might be thinking of.
Okay, gotcha.
But
So you're saying puberty is quite a difficult time.
Is it puberty? Yeah.
that's the cliff that we're all teetering over before we make it.
Well, I mean, what happens to the people who don't?
The magma either consumes them or they sink to the bottom. There's really no way to know.
Well, I mean, that sounds like a good recycling system, if you ask me. It sounds like you are really kind of at one with your planet.
Yeah.
I guess I've never thought of it that way, but absolutely, yeah. There's nothing being wasted. As soon as something goes to the surface, it sinks to the bottom, reheats, and floats back to the top.
Oh, it floats back to the top, so it doesn't suddenly. You don't suddenly just have more and more, I suppose, land mass or something under the sea, under the magma, building up more solidity.
No, if anything, we have less.
Ah, good.
Less. It's expanded into the entropy that is the universe.
Now, I don't know if you covered. Now eating. Obviously, I am one who takes interest in the consumption of food. Oh,
An interest? Are you kidding me? I'd say it's a passion.
a passion, a necessity.
Don't sell yourself short.
No, I'm trying to be modest. I'm working on modesty. Somebody asks how much you weigh, and I downplay it by a certain bit of tonnage. So eating, how do you eat? How do you take in nutrients, or do you take in nutrients? You could live on crap. I don't know.
Well, we are continuously surrounded by magma, which supports us in so many ways. We're just, as we propel ourselves through the magma, we're sucking it in and taking resources, and then letting out those resources which we don't need.
You have a filtration system of sorts, or a waste.
That's what it sounded like to me. A filtration.
Sure,
system.
yeah. In a way, we are the filtration. We're the thing that's taking in the magma, soaking in whatever is most good and rich, and then leaving the rest to be, I guess, also to become the magma. The more I think about it, we are filtering it negatively.
Oh.
We're taking all the positive things out and then leaving only that which is
Except for the
Totally
puberty,
useless. You just
except
leave
for
them
the-
behind what's
the-
totally useless.
Except for the ones that don't make it through puberty, who then die and recycle themselves back into the magma.
That's true. So in a way, I'm also eating the poor young Leviathans that cannot make it through the
Yes, you
hellacious period that is our childhood and puberty regions.
Yes, you are. Is it by chance, if there's maybe some Leviathans who know that you're not, yeah, this one's not going to make it through puberty. perhaps they might be turned into a coat.
Trellis is very
I'm
angling on this.
I'm just circling. I'm circling back.
Trellis, are you suggesting that perhaps he talks to some young Lavassian?
Lavatsans. Come on, Horatio.
Lavatsan, I'm sorry.
Show some respect for the people I'm going to wear.
Lavatsan.
Show.
I wrote it down correctly, but then the condiment I wrote it in just kind of smudged there.
Show some respect for the people I plan on wearing.
You make a very good point. So you could talk to some, like perhaps go to a school group or something and just say, hey, this is an opportunity for those of you who don't survive.
You could live on.
To continue.
I would assume, and I'm no expert, but I would assume that would be against whatever laws exist to govern such things, to go into a group of children who are in the very throes of the hardest challenge that their life will ever face.
Yes.
And just say, anybody feel like taking an off-road as a jacket?
Although the way you phrased that there, I could be swung.
You sold me.
That was a wonderful slogan for it. Have you ever thought about going into PR, sales?
Trellis, here's this opportunity that I give you. Why don't you come to my planet? You enter the magma, find the young Leviathan that you feel would be most coat-worthy, and you try to convince them of this opportunity that you have given.
I would like to see that, Trellis.
Can they come up to the surface?
Could they? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I can't go into the magma. Does it look like you want this to have 12th degree burns? I think not.
I don't know. That could be interesting. Could add some character.
I've got my own burns. Are you saying that I'm ugly, Trellis?
A good point, Trellis. Trellis, he makes a good point.
Yes, I am.
Oh.
Next to me, anyways. Next to another Leviathan, you might be handsome. I don't know. I didn't pay all this money to look like this, to have someone that's burnt to a crisp look better than me.
You know what? That's fair. Now that I consider your point of view on it. But to answer your question, obviously yes, we can come to the surface, but it is as painful to us to be out here as it is to be in the magma.
So you're in pain right now.
Oh, of course, constantly.
Oh, that's terrible. I'm sorry.
Is there anything we can do to help you out?
Oh no, absolutely not. The only way you could do that is to change the air temperature in here to approximately magma temperature.
Oh yeah, that's not happening.
No, I would. You just imagine how much sweat would come out of me at that.
Although our appetizers would not go cold.
That's true. I assume on your world, that's a world where you never have to reheat food.
No. Well,
everything's well done.
It's already hot at that point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have you ever had a rare steak by chance?
I've never had a steak.
Oh, so you couldn't have had a rare one. It would be more than rare. More than rare would be non-existent.
You know, hold on. I'm gonna flag down the waiter here. I would like one rare nachos, steak nachos, rare steak.
With the pink, it's like just red inside.
Because thankfully, you haven't lived until you've had
rare steak nachos.
Yes, exactly.
Rare steak nachos.
Exactly. Well, I mean, the steak could be any form. Nachos are the most popular appetizer with steak in it. So
there's also raw fish nachos, which
yes,
you want to eat early in the day, or in the week, early in the week more.
I just want to see your reaction to it. They'll be out here in a second. Does it pique your interest at all?
I mean, again, I've only ever consumed hot melted rock as it pours through my mouth as I traverse my planet.
I'm going to say this is going to be an upgrade.
I'm wondering what the flavor of that rock is like. Is it a pleasant flavor? Is it like a smoky, kind of a mesquite kind of situation?
Well, that's a dumb question. Mesquite's a wood.
Oh, that's true. It would be rock, kind of cold, and more of a coal kind of thing.
Yes, coal.
Yeah, hot coals.
I would suppose so, but I guess it'd be kind of like asking you, what does air taste like?
And I would say it depends on what it's been filtered with.
Well, he's pulling food out of his beard all the time.
Yeah.
I'm sure some of your hair's gotten in there, Horatio. So, let us. What is it? Tell us all about it.
What hair tastes like, or what air?
I'm assuming hair.
Oh, I thought he said
I
air.
said air.
He said
I said
air.
air, like the air you breathe. The
Oh.
chemical that you're constantly surrounded with.
If you want to talk about hair, Trellis, that could do a whole other.
Well, I was confused because his face is surrounded by hair.
Yes.
And you know.
My nose and eyes and all are framed by the hair, with the mouth poking through, desperately
But
crying
no,
for help.
Well, I mean, I can breathe air in through my mouth and not taste it, but I can smell things when it goes through my nose. Do you have any differentiation in that aspect for yourself?
No, as you can see, I just have kind of one central hole in the middle of my face, just to bore through the magma.
And it's a lovely one. It's very regal. Very
well,
regal
and
hole.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Dignified hole.
Yes, just the 3 holes, the one hole in the middle and then the 2 eyes.
Covered by those lovely leathery
Well, there's got to be a
flaps.
fourth hole. There's got to be a fourth hole. You said stuff comes out the other side.
Oh.
Well, yeah, it's not out the other side of my face.
No, I would hope not. Although there are cultures where they do eat and defecate from just right around the corner of their face.
Don't bring it up.
Sometimes they forget which is which, and drunk or looking in a mirror or something.
Well, now I've learned something.
Are you just random beings going around your planet, thankfully, or is there some sort of social structure? Do you have a wife?
Oh, there is a sort of social structure. The society is built around, the tight kind of tribe unit. There's just a handful that you might bump into in the magma throughout your life, and obviously we can recognize each other through the dulcet tones of the thrumming of our consumption of magma.
Dulcet tones.
Dulcet tones. Oh, that's a dulcet lager. Ding,
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 ding, ding. Do you have dulcet lager on your planet?
We don't. What's a dulcet lager?
Oh, it's our sponsor.
Oh, it's a malt beverage. It's an alcoholic beverage.
Very good.
Best served cold.
Oh, then I definitely have not had it.
Oh, we should order one of those. I'm flagging down the waiter.
Oh, yes.
Dulcet lagers all around. Dulcet lagers. We get paid. We get them free. So just serve them to everyone.
Heat Hankfully's up. Ours should be ice cold. You're gonna
Yes.
love this. It's very.
Although I'm
tasty.
curious to see what the ice cold dulcet lager would do, cascading down your throat.
I would imagine it would just turn to steam before it even got in.
It would be interesting to watch. We should watch this. This is science.
Which would make it interesting. Someone probably couldn't insult you on their planet by throwing a drink in your face because it would just evaporate before it even hit you.
There's no way that a drink could possibly make it through the magma. Yeah.
Exactly.
So you don't have glasses or plates or utensils or anything. Just shove it right into your face hole.
Just the hole.
No, I've read about these things, but there's really nothing you could possibly put on your body that could sustain not only being worn on such a face as mine, but to try to fix the eyes, if you're talking about optical glasses, and then of course the actual carrying of food is unnecessary when you are swimming in the very thing that you're consuming.
It's fascinating to think that you're swimming not only in your food but also in your defecated material.
Do you guys even make that differentiation? It doesn't sound like.
There's not really a need to, I suppose.
No.
Maybe you get a pocket of magma that doesn't have quite the nutrients you were looking for, but ultimately, what's the difference?
So I'm assuming you don't have very many dinner parties or potluck or things like that.
These are unfamiliar to me. If I was going to eat in a group, we would simply just all travel together in a sort of formation, swirling around in a direction, getting fresh magma in and unfresh magma out.
Right. And I would imagine you don't want to be behind someone else.
Of course not, because you would be getting no nutrients from their draft.
Exactly.
You just
You'd
get the refuse. I was wondering, do you have anything like theater or any kind of entertainment on your world? I was just imagining kind of what a dinner theater experience would be like on your planet.
Oh, sure. There are people who make their thrums into certain moving experiences where someone can be just beside you. Maybe you're both eating and you're swimming around and you're making a sort of helix shape, and the other person is just as they change the very notes with which their body moves through. It's incredibly moving. I would cry if my body was capable of such a thing.
Would that be? I assume the tears just turn to mist or turn to
I was
vapor.
going to say, maybe you are crying and you don't know it.
Would be.
Wow, this has given me a lot to think about.
You could be a very emotional people and just not know it.
A lot of tears could have been shed for those teens that didn't make it through puberty and you didn't even know about it.
Oh, this is true. But also, it must be accepted because otherwise, if we gave in to being overcome every time that a teenager didn't survive the blasting heat of Lavasa, then what would we do? Stop making more youth to try to carry on our proud traditions of thrumming next to each other in a double helix consuming magma?
Thrumming, I have to write that down. Thrumming next to each other in a double helix. It's just beautiful phrasing there in the double helix. So is the thrumming sound, is that the closest you have to applause? Perhaps?
Oh no, if we were trying to show appreciation?
Yes.
Oh no, we would simply, kind of manipulate ourselves to rub that person who's created such a lovely tone. Just like a quick drive-by where we kind of pass leathery skin to leathery skin. The kind of support one would want from a community.
Sounds incredibly erotic.
Yes.
Or could be.
Sounds more like
could be unintentionally erotic, I assume. The rubbing of leathery skin against leathery skin.
This sounds incredibly. I think you're describing an orgy, is what I think it is.
No, there's absolutely nothing erotic about all of our hot bodies at magma temperature, rubbing against the most beautiful sound we've ever heard. There's nothing. It's disgusting to me personally.
Do you hear yourself?
What? Just because our bodies.
I don't.
I have to admit, I noticed, I didn't get turned on, but I noticed some beings who were at the next table, who obviously overheard it, and they are very into each other now. It's like they were watching some pornography, and it instigated something in them. The hearing about, I'm just going to try something. Just watch them now. Watch.
I think it's because you you gave us that sound. I think that's what got them all.
Try that sound again. Let's watch. Let's.
That's a kind compliment you give me that my thrumming would cause such a thing. But yes, of course.
Let's watch them. Oh, look.
Their clothes are off. They're
on the table. Oh, they're asking for more sauce.
Oh, so those are clothes. That's not.
Yes.
That's not part of. Because obviously I have never worn
just
clothes.
Leathery skin.
You're just this glowing red. You look hot. Are you hot to touch?
Well,
touch him and find
I
out.
suppose that'd be hot by your standards, but by my standards, this is the coldest I've ever been.
Oh, really?
It is a bit warmer here in the booth, I noticed. I may be sweating off some pounds.
I will say this. You are giving off quite like the sexy glow. Like that's you are like living mood lighting.
Oh, so I'm burnt and disgusting and yet giving off a sexy glow.
Yes.
This is news to me.
In fact, you are.
Oftentimes, when someone else is burnt and disgusting like that, it's sexy because it reminds one of how not burnt and that kind of thing oneself is.
Well, no, I mean he's still glowing.
You're glowing.
That
the glow is. I need to put my sunglasses on. I'm gonna put my sunglasses on.
It sets a mood.
No, I see that now. I guess I'll return home eventually and let my people know just how appreciated we are off of our planet.
You could rent yourselves out, perhaps. Have you ever thought about? I'm just thinking. I don't know if you're interested in leaving your planet. I mean, obviously, you left it, but how interested your people are?
Why did you leave, by the way?
I'm just thinking you could rent yourself out as a briquette or something for a sauna, perhaps. Perhaps that would be a career field.
Oh, of course, yes. We do emit a sort of latent heat from how much we've stored throughout our lives. Yes. Why did I leave? Well, I've always been a bit of an explorer, always kind of concerning myself with the outside world and the lava lands instead of the magma pits. And one day I was surfacing and just gazing upon the smoke and acridness of the surface of my planet, and I saw a ship.
Oh.
And it of course it immediately burned upon impact, but for a shining moment I saw it and I thought, there are things that can come from outside of this world, outside of these pits. And from that point on, I made it my purpose to try to find more information about what was going on, and then I hitched a ride, and now I'm here.
Oh, that's fascinating. I'm curious about the ship you hitched on. How is it doing after you traveled on it?
They were able to make the necessary repairs after I burned a hole through part of the cabin, but ultimately the ship is still faring well.
Good.
So you're not
good,
going to get
good.
you're not going to get your deposit back, is what you're saying.
Oh no, they charged me quite a lot, and honestly, finding out about currency and the way that the rest of the universe trades things was quite a lot for me. You
How
know,
did
we
you deal with
typically-
that? How did you deal with that? You come from a world with no currency, nothing like that, and then you're in a environment where everything is about currency and trade. Wow. How did you barter your? Did you barter your trip? Did you?
It was mostly, I'm not a very expensive person to keep held, as long as I've got rocks that can either be heated up into magma or magma that can be consumed directly. I can sort of store myself. Plus, I think people found pity on me because of just how much pain I was continuously in. I'm a bit of an extremophile on our planet. We have this extreme condition of heat, but anywhere else in the universe, we're just in such pain because we are not in our extreme condition. So I believe people just, ultimately they did charge me money, but they didn't want it immediately. They were like, listen, you figure out whatever your deal is because you're very clearly in a lot of excruciating pain.
It's like here. If you could pay the bill later, I'm just going to slide the check over here, and you just keep dealing with your pain, and I'll get back.
And you'll find that around the universe, people surprisingly will just let somebody who doesn't understand things just kind of live their life because it's too complicated to explain things.
I have benefited from
Just
that.
give up.
I have benefited from that myself.
Very much so, because I've certainly given up trying to explain things to you at times.
Yes. Also, if you just act like you don't understand, after a while, people just better. It's like, I'm sorry, what? They criticize
been
you, and
lying
you go,
to-
I'm sorry, what?
Have you been
Criticism. I'm
lying
sorry,
to me,
what?
Horatio?
What's that?
Horatio, have you been lying to me?
I don't. It depends on what we've been talking about. I'm sure we've talked about many, many things in our friendship, but I'm sure there might have been a lie in there at some point.
I think we've dropped a level.
Oh, did we have a level of trust? Well, we had a level of acceptance, I think is what it was. That we accepted each other's dishonesty, whatever, just... I like to operate under the auspices of, if I don't like what somebody says, I just pretend they didn't say it.
Okay.
All
right.
Oftentimes.
That explains a lot.
Doesn't it?
You've acted like you haven't heard what I've said quite a few times.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Oh, are these the steak nachos?
These are
Oh,
yes,
yes,
good point.
yes,
Yeah. Oh, awkward
yes.
moment.
Oh,
Awkward
it's about
moment
time.
saved by food once again.
Oh.
All
Okay.
right.
So
So I eat this part and I
Chips-
wash it down
chip-
with this part?
chips.
Yes, you have your lager.
Steak.
You have your lager. This is a bottle.
You got
What
your-
this is a bottle that the lager's
Oh,
in.
I like that
not
they
the
have
whole-
it in the insulated mug here for you,
Yes.
so that it's maintaining the heat. 'Cause look, like that is just about to boil over. Hopefully that's hot enough for you.
Oh, I believe so. Okay. So here goes nothing.
Into the hole. Into the hole.
And just steam. Just the steam coming out. The steam. Oh, watch it.
Oh, it's so cold.
Cold? What?
Is it called? That was
Keep in
piping
mind the
hot.
temperatures that my body is used
I-
to are so hot.
Oh no! Is it causing you discomfort? Are you getting
can you taste it?
spleen freeze or something?
No, I think I can just barely handle it, but goodness gracious.
Try chasing it. Here, chase it with some of the boiling hot lager.
Ah, there we go. Oh,
Does that help at all?
okay. It's a little chilly, but it's not too bad.
Sometimes it's refreshing to have a little cold drink.
Yes.
I find it refreshing.
Now talk to me about the flavors that are hitting you right now.
Yes,
Thankfully.
yes.
What's describe it?
Well, it's almost like it's like the feeling of chewing into your own mouth.
Oh, that could be lovely, depending on what you've been
Yeah,
eating.
like if you've accidentally bitten your tongue while thrumming, you could potentially have a yes, and then you could get a little section of it. That's kind of what it tastes like. That, and then shards of I don't know what material these nachos are made of.
Would it be? I mean, do you have glass on your? No, I suppose you don't have glass.
Don't.
When I think of shards, I think of glass. Oftentimes.
No, we just basically have.
These are chips. These are chips, is what they
Yeah,
call
they're
them.
just it's
Chips.
just it's a standard chip.
made
Triangular
from,
in shape.
Made from basically grains, things like that.
Flour.
Flour.
Baked into a hard shape.
When it's done correctly, it's baked to a golden
Kind of
perfection.
magma-like. It's rock-ish.
Like a very thin, crispy bit of magma with some
Yes,
some
yes,
salt
incredibly
on it.
thin, incredibly thin compared to chewing onto a melted rock. But
Now, does it just disintegrate on your tongue there? Or?
it feels like the chip and my body are having a battle of temperatures, and it's uncomfortable in a way that I'm not used to, and for that reason, I'm thankful for this experience to have a new level of discomfort.
Oh, I'm glad we could accommodate
Well,
that.
I have to say,
Now-
the food, it smells lovely. I know we said we had it rare when it came to the table to meet. It smells like it's cooking more. I can smell from
You
your
are giving
mouth
off.
hole.
You do smell delicious right now.
Yes.
And well, that could be it. It could be that the steak has hit my warm, toasty innards and is now reaching a new temperature.
Have you ever thought of working as an oven?
I guess not, but that's entirely possible.
just
What
the thing,
temperatures would I need to be?
Oh, I think you're at the right spot.
Can you control your temperature?
Oh,
Well, no, but I store temperature from what I've been resting in for a long time. So, I mean, I assume I take a quick dip in some magma and I could approach whatever temperature would be necessary for this task.
I'm just thinking. This is just if in fact you were looking to relocate. We do have an in with the cook here at Millyways. But with Beth, you might talk to her. She may be looking for new ways to cook the food here at the restaurant. I don't know why it took me so long to come up with the word food. But so that's just an option. I'm just saying if you were looking, or you or your people.
Do you take direction well? Because Beth doesn't like a lot of back talk, so it's kind of just like she just kind of is more of like, do what I tell you to do. So
None. She doesn't want any back talk, or I'll lop your head off.
No, I have no problem with respecting an authority, and honestly, this would be great because if I could get paid to do a task, apparently that's how you get money, and
Yes.
I do need to hire a way to get back to my home planet so I can share all the wonderful things I've learned about the painful existence off of our lava homeland.
I'm sure your people would be just uplifted to hear about that. That the pain
Oh.
doesn't go away when you leave.
would
It's
they
just
throw a
different
parade
kind of
for
pain.
you?
Oh,
Probably not a parade, but I could imagine the size of the formation of us all swirling through as more and more Lavasans came to see somebody who left and returned.
You return a hero.
That's entirely possible, yeah.
but give us that sound again. Give us that beautiful sound again.
The thrumming?
Yes. Oh, I'm just imagining all the swimming around and the thrumming and.
I have a feeling there'd be a population explosion and a lot of little Lavatsans named Hankfully. However long it takes you to give birth.
We didn't
Oh,
even
you
get
you,
into
en-
that.
you embarrass me. You embarrass me talking
get
about
into talking
the
about your sex.
possibilities.
The sex. We didn't get to talking
Well,
about procreation.
Well, we talked about the orgy part. That's
Well, yes.
Well, that's not an orgy. That's simply applause. That's just telling someone they've done a good job thrumming.
Your applause is that table's orgy, is from what I can tell.
Well, it certainly seems that way. They've taken off somehow more clothes.
That's not an orgy. That's just applause. That may be the best thing that's come out of this episode.
That might be our entry for today for Lavasa.
Well, we are getting close
That's
to
not-
time on that.
That's applause, not an orgy, or what'd you put?
That's not an
applause.
orgy. That's just applause.
Okay.
Yes, it's applause for a job well done.
Yes.
Exactly.
We gotta hope. Sometimes, sometimes good sex and bad sex are just, sex. Sometimes,
Now-
good orgy or bad orgy.
Now, Hank, I need you to stand up because I just want to stand in front of you here to try and measure you up a little bit because I'm still.
Is this
I'm not
still? Are
giving-
you
I'm-
still
I'm
obsessed
not-
with the coat
I'm
prospect?
not giving up
He
on
is,
the coat thing.
he
'Cause
is.
I'm telling you, either you or one of those kids that doesn't make it out of puberty, I feel like there's a look I need and want.
Is it the shine coming off of my skin, the nice sheen that I have?
There's a sheen. There's a rough-hewn sheen.
It's just there's a worn look about you. It's weathered, that it's experienced life, a harsh life, and I want that look.
Normally, you have to buy. You have to buy
it
something
balances
free.
out.
Yes.
It balances out all the perfection I've had done. Opposites.
I suppose I see what you're saying, but I would rather be an oven than a jacket.
Well, it doesn't have to be you.
What a beautiful.
It doesn't have to be you. Well, anyways, Horatio, type
Rather
in the
be an oven than a jacket.
and that's not applause. No, that's not an orgy.
That's just applause. Yes.
So type that in. Let's get this submitted, and we will talk to Beth for you because she doesn't like people just walking on in.
Sure.
And I would.
That you notice all the
Even
heads
less.
on spikes outside the kitchen door.
Yeah.
That's those are the people who
that's-
tried to go in
That
unannounced.
is a warning.
Well, that's the heads from the people.
Well, I appreciate you putting in a good word. Like I said, I just need a little bit of money, and I can bounce my way back to Lavasa.
Yeah, and oven-wise, I'm just picturing her putting food in your mouth one end and it's coming out the other, like a conveyor belt, cooked.
Something to think
Suppose
about.
time will tell.
Something to think. That's true. It does take time. We'll have to experiment to see how long it
Well,
takes.
I am. Did you hit submit on that? yet,
Oh,
Horatio?
sorry. We type and submit. Bing, bing, boop.
That's going to get a lot of hits. I know it.
Should.
Well, I am thankful that Hankfully has been in the booth with us today. I saw that glow come
Yes.
into the restaurant, and I just knew we had to have you in here.
Well, excellent. Thank you for letting me experience the pain that was steak nachos and a dulcet lager.
Oh, what a wonderful slogan. Thanks for the pain.
Thank you for joining us for Hitchhikers and Appetizers. And of course, special thanks goes to our guest, Hankfully Yours. I have been Trellis Gardeen.
And I continue to be Horatio Zinn. Until next time, keep your towels clean. And if your first 8 plans for taking over the Earth don't work out, surely the next one will be successful. So don't panic. This episode of Hitchhikers and Appetizers featured the voice talents of Mike Gorgone as Trellis Gardeen, Bran Peacock as Horatio Zinn, and Ben Burris as Hankfully Yours. Finally, Hitchhikers and Appetizers is part of the Improv in Action Network. Check out other great improvised podcasts and projects at improvinaction.com. If you'd like to reach out to Trellis or Horatio, you can send electronic messages to them at our Galaxy address, hitchappspodcast@gmail.com. Or you can find them on Twitter with the handle hitchapps.
And before you go, we here at Hitchhikers and Appetizers would like to announce that we're now a featured podcast on Newsly. Newsly is an all-in-one audio super app for iOS and Android. It picks up the most trending articles on the web on topics you choose at any given moment and reads them to you in a natural human voice. For the first time ever, the entire web becomes listenable, all in one place. Browse articles from topics you choose and start playing. Stop scrolling, start listening. You can follow any topic as specific as you like. From sports, tech, business, science, Bitcoin, or even the Kardashians. We here at Hitchhikers and Appetizers won't judge you. To your face, at least. Newsly will find you the latest articles and read them to you aloud. And they have podcasts as well. Explore trending podcasts from over 80 countries. As mentioned earlier, our podcast is there too. I started using it as my default podcast app. They even have digital radio. Download and use Newsly for free now from www.newsly.me or from the link in this episode's description and use the promo code ZERS, Z-E-R-S, to receive a 1-month free premium subscription. 1 month is better than no months, I always say, and I'm Trellis Gardeen.
Shut up and sit down.